There are moments in life when everything changes. For Thomas Mitchell, that moment came on a sunny Tuesday morning when he least expected it. Thomas was a man who had learned patience the hard way. At 58 years old, he'd built a successful telecommunications company from nothing. But his greatest treasure was his 7-year-old son. Leo, the boy, had been born profoundly deaf, and Thomas had raised him alone since his wife passed away when Leo was just 2 years old. Every morning, Thomas would kneel down to Leo's level, making sure the boy could see his face clearly as they communicated through sign language. Their home was filled with light and laughter, even in silence. Thomas had learned that love doesn't need sound to be heard. That particular Tuesday, Thomas had taken Leo to the city park near their home. It was one of those perfect spring days when the air smells fresh and everything seems possible. Leo wore his favorite shirt, the one with tiny patterns scattered across it, and his eyes were bright with curiosity about the world around him. They were walking along the path when Thomas noticed an elderly man sitting on a bench. The man had kind eyes and weathered hands, and he was holding something carefully cupped in his palms. As Thomas and Leo approached, the man looked up and smiled. "Beautiful morning, isn't it?" the old man said. Thomas nodded, and Leo watched their interaction with interest. Reading his father's expressions, the elderly man glanced at Leo, then back at Thomas. "Your son, he communicates through sign language, doesn't he?" Thomas was surprised but nodded. "Yes, he does. He's deaf." The old man's eyes softened with understanding. "I thought so. I recognized the way you move together, the constant awareness. I had a daughter like that once." He paused, his voice catching slightly. "She passed away some years ago, but she taught me more about truly listening than anyone else ever could." Thomas felt an instant connection with this stranger who understood their world. Leo tugged at his father's sleeve, curious about what they were discussing. "Would you like to see something special?" the old man asked, looking at Leo. Thomas translated into sign language, and Leo nodded enthusiastically. The elderly man slowly opened his cupped hands to reveal a stunning, Madagascar hissing cockroach, its shell gleaming with bronze and amber colors in the sunlight. Leo's eyes widened with fascination. "Now, this might sound strange," the old man said softly, "but my daughter discovered something remarkable about these creatures. They communicate through vibrations, through feelings that travel through the air in ways we can barely understand. She believed that if someone could learn to truly feel those vibrations, really connect with them, it could open up pathways in the mind we didn't know existed." Thomas was skeptical but intrigued. The old man continued, "My daughter was a neurologist. Before she died, she was working on a theory about how certain frequencies and vibrations could stimulate neural pathways, especially in children. She never got to finish her research, but she left me her notes. And this little fellow," he gently placed the cockroach in Leo's small hand. The boy's face lit up with wonder as he felt the creature move. Then something extraordinary happened. The cockroach made its characteristic hissing sound, a low vibration that Leo could feel resonating through his palm, up his arm, and somehow, impossibly, into his mind. Leo's expression changed. His eyes grew wide, not with fear, but with an awakening, as if he was sensing something he'd never experienced before. Thomas watched, his heart pounding. Leo looked up at his father, and for the first time in the boy's life, Thomas saw recognition of sound in his son's eyes. It was subtle, just a glimmer, but it was there. "The vibrations," the old man explained quietly, "they're teaching his brain to interpret sensory input in a new way. It's not instant, and it's not magic, but sometimes, when the mind is young and adaptable enough, and when love is strong enough, pathways can form." Over the following weeks, Thomas visited the elderly man often. His name was Henry, and he had spent his retirement studying his daughter's research, hoping to complete what she'd started. With Henry's guidance, Thomas learned specialized techniques, combining gentle sound therapy with vibrational exercises. Leo began responding to vibrations, then to low tones, and gradually, miraculously, to sounds. It wasn't perfect, and it took months of patient work, but slowly, Leo's world expanded. The day Leo first spoke his father's name, Thomas wept. They were in their kitchen, morning sunlight streaming through the windows, and Leo looked at his father and said, "Dad," in a small, uncertain voice. Thomas swept his son into his arms, holding him close. "Yes, buddy, yes, I'm here." Henry visited them often after that, becoming like a grandfather to Leo. The old man said his daughter would have been proud to see her research helping someone, bringing sound to a child who had lived in silence. Thomas learned something profound through this journey. He learned that miracles aren't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes they're quiet and gradual, built on patience, love, and the kindness of strangers who become family. Leo never forgot sign language. He and his father continued using it, honoring the beautiful way they'd first learned to communicate. But now they had both worlds, both languages, both ways of connecting. And Thomas understood, finally, that the real miracle wasn't the sound. It was the love that had carried them through the silence. That had opened them to help from an unexpected friend, and that would continue guiding them forward. Whatever challenges lay ahead, some gifts come wrapped in the most unexpected packages. Sometimes healing arrives not with fanfare, but with the gentle hiss of a peculiar creature and the wisdom of an old man who refused to let his daughter's dream die with her. That's how miracles really work, not with thunder and lightning, but with patience, persistence, and the quiet courage to believe in tomorrow.